Good Monday morning, friends. It's Heather at Bush Poppy Farm. I'm going to do my best today to get some outdoor work done before the next round of thunderstorms comes through. So let's get started. So you may have seen in the news that California was hit by a bomb cyclone. Bomb cyclone basically just means a cyclonic storm that intensifies extremely rapidly, meaning that the pressure in the center drops very dramatically, very quickly. And so that picks up huge wind gusts. And of course, we had a lot of rain. We're still under a wind warning. Our gusts here at the house reached 35 miles an hour yesterday, but on our local mountain here at Mount Diablo, it was well over 90. So yeah, I grew up in Florida and I've been through a lot of hurricanes, and I gotta say, there were times yesterday with the rain and when the wind gusts would come through that I was like, oh, this feels like a Category 1 hurricane. So yeah, it was pretty intense. Thankfully, the garden seems to have survived. So before I start moving compost, because I'm gonna try to get those final 2 Birdie's beds filled. I mean, I can see the clouds coming in. I don't know how much I'll get done, but I do want to give you a little tour because things are starting to pop because we've been warm. So let's go take a look. So here you can see that the daffodils are starting to come up. There's a couple different varieties in here and they're really packed tightly. So actually this year when they're blooming, I'm going to pull some of them up by the bulb to make room for the rest because they've naturalized so much. They're like packed in here like eggs in a carton. And that's fine for tulips if you're going to treat them as an annual, but if it's daffodils, then they can't continue to expand and they'll just drop in production or die altogether. So I want to make space for them. Over here is another variety of daffodils and they're just starting to come up. And I also have lots of weeds in there that I need to hoe out so that they don't reproduce and start spreading. Some of the tulips are really starting to pop that you can see here. We've got sticks and stuff from this, we have an arroyo willow here. Oh, I can see a big broken branch hanging there. But there's arroyo willow in here and these sticks tend to snap in wind. And so I had a lot of them in the garden. I've since picked up as many as I can, but so tulips starting to come up and the bees are out because it's warm. So they're like, well, some of it is they're drinking water from inside the cups of the tulips here, but they're looking for forage and I don't have a whole lot. Thankfully, the manzanita is starting to bloom. Garlic, doing just fine. These daffodils coming up, aren't they so pretty? I think they're just delightful. They're very dainty. I don't remember what this variety is. But I planted these in circles around all of the peonies, which are not coming up yet because it's too early. But by the time the daffodils start fading back, the peonies start coming in. So it's a good system. And here's our apple tree that we transplanted last week. Looking just fine. It didn't have any support, but it's very protected here. This whole hedge acts as a windbreak. This is the western side of the garden, and so it's really helpful because it keeps things from getting completely destroyed. Big pile of stuff that just needs to be dealt with. Real life in the garden. Stuff everywhere. The roses desperately need to be pruned. I usually do those the end of January, so I'm hoping to get to them this week. We're going to get a little bit of dry weather before more rain. So I need to prune these guys as well as all the climbers in the backyard too. And we're getting to the time where I'm going to start cutting down all of these guys to about 6 inches above the ground. This is buddleia and salvias and stuff like that. Then they come back lush with new growth and not so leggy. So that's going to happen too. Not this week, probably next week. Blueberries and the blackberries looking fine. All the fruit trees looking good. Apples haven't started to break bud yet because they're usually later. All of this stuff is in this bed just because I want it to dry out so I can put it away. I don't like to put these cloches away soaking wet because then they get kind of nasty. All right, Mustard's still doing great. You can see more daffodils down here along the fence line. Something's been munching on the artichokes at night, so I need to set up my rat trap again. I don't know that it's rats, but I'm gonna set that up. 2 cabbages that are, I don't know. I hope they have enough leaves left on them to photosynthesize and actually produce a head. This is red acre cabbage that is not gonna do much. I'm not too worried about it. And that was broccoli. So these beds are empty. They're going to get some planting this week. There's gonna be lettuce planted in this bed, I think, I'm going on my memory of seed time. I have onions that are gonna go into the upper bed over there in the raised bed garden. And then today, I'm gonna focus on filling these 2 beds. So these are the small size Oyas. We have the super large ones here in these big beds. These guys have a 4-foot circumference or radius, 4-foot radius where water will leak out and fill the bed. These guys are a 2-foot radius, so I thought they were plenty big for this area. Again, they're just ceramic, highly porous ceramic. You fill them with water, put the lid on, and then they slowly keep the bed moist. And then you just refill them, keep checking the water levels and refill them. That's going to be the irrigation on these raised beds this year. I will be running irrigation to all the other beds, but not yet. First of all, we're still getting plenty of rain, and secondly, that's going to be a project, and I have to figure out how I want to do that. I still have a mainline tubing here that I can run off of, but I have to come up with the way I want to do it. Chickens are doing fine. They're kind of miserable because it's been very, very wet. Yesterday, we got about 2 inches of rain and it just dumped. And so they had to spend the whole day in their coop. They weren't very pleased about that, but they're doing all right. As you can see over there, these are rain clouds coming my way. Today is supposed to be scattered, brief downpours. So I want to try to bust out here in between when I can. The compost is dry because it's been under a tarp. So I'm going to just start trying to move. I would love to get these 2 beds filled. So at least I know that's done. And I might add a top-up layer on some of the other beds that I've already filled, just because, you know, the rain has made it settle, which is great. So I might add a little bit more compost on top of those. All right, I'm going to get started. Beds are done. I'm completely surrounded by dark clouds, so it's going to rain any minute, which is fine. I'm going to head inside, get something to eat, and then do some work in the greenhouse. But this is what we've got done. So that bed is full. It's got the Oyas in it. It's ready to go. Same with this bed down here. Oyas are in it and ready to go. And I topped up all of the berry bushes, this one, and then there's 2 more way up there that I topped up. Topped up this bed, which right now only has passion fruit vines in it. I'm actually stunned that these survived the winter, even though it didn't get that cold. It's kind of cool. They're going to completely cover this chicken coop, which I actually love the idea of. It will provide shade for the chickens and actually some protection from the rain next year. So, and the fruits will grow down through the chicken wire, so it could be really fun. Okay, the wind is picking up. It's getting dark, which means the rain is about to arrive. I found a whole bunch of packets of peppers that I didn't know that I had, that I apparently bought and then cataloged but put in the wrong place. So I have more peppers to start. I'll show you what those are right after I eat. Okay, in the greenhouse, it's about to start raining. I'm probably gonna get trapped out here. I have found, I don't even know where I put these, but these are 6 extra pepper packs that I just bought and got recorded in my seed inventory, but somehow ended up in a different spot. So when I was going through my seed boxes, I was like, whoa, these are extra peppers. So these are about, you know, a week. These will be like a week behind everything else that I just started, but that's fine. So what I've got is shishito. And it's funny because when I mentioned shishito the other day in the pepper video, I was like, I could have sworn I had shishito seeds. Why don't I have them here? So shishito. And I think I'm doing 2 6-packs of these because I love them. And I know that my customers will get a few, but I want to have as many as possible. And then I'm only doing one 6-pack of these. These are California Wonder peppers. I do enjoy bell peppers quite a bit. We eat them, I buy them. But I also really love growing the hot peppers, so I only have a couple of sweet ones. So that's California Wonder. And then this is another sweet one. It's called Carmen. And it's funny because it looks like it would be a hot pepper, but it is very sweet. It's pretty yummy. I grew those last year. I enjoyed them. Okay, and then this is new to me this year. And I'm going to grow 2 of them. This is Pasilla Bajío. And this pepper is a smoky pepper that is used to make mole. We love mole, and so I want to grow a lot of these and dry them and make some mole at home. Then I have another jalapeno. I do love Craig's Grande jalapeno. I have a ton of those already started. And this is another one. It's called Megatron. And so I will combine these with the other ones to grow enough to make cowboy candy. And then finally, a new to me hot pepper for this year. This one is New Mexico Joe E. Parker. It's supposedly like an Anaheim type pepper. So good for grilling and roasting and stuffing and things like that. So I have my seed trays already loaded. I'm going to go on and get these sown, and then we'll see what's left for today. Okay, so I'm going to go over with you the seeds I'm going to sow this week. It's week 6 in the agricultural calendar, and I am running out of space. So I'm glad that tomorrow we're supposed to have sun. I'm going to start getting some of these vegetables at least hardened off so that I can put them in the ground in a day or two, a couple days before the next round of rain. But I need shelf space so that I can start more seeds. So I'm probably not going to start most of these today, but I do want to go over with you what is on tap and what I use them for. So the first, these are all flowers. The first flowers I'm going to start are Sweet Alyssum. And I have a whole bunch of varieties here. The reason I use these is, number one, they smell amazing. I don't know if you've ever smelled Sweet Alyssum. They smell kind of like honey. They are amazing for bringing in good pollinators, as well as beneficial insects that can predate on pest insects that you don't want in your garden. So really nice to have. And they're beautiful planted anywhere. They're low growing, so they're not going to shade anything out. They create a nice little mat where they grow, so they block the weeds. They're just wonderful. And like I said, they smell amazing. So this first one is called Rosie O'Day. And they're really easy to start from seed. This one is called Summer Peaches. Then I have an Allure Pastel Blend. And then I have 2 packets of this because I fell in love with it. Oriental Nights. So in addition to nasturtiums, which I plant around all my vegetables and stuff, I like to intersperse Sweet Alyssum. Number one, it makes everything so beautiful. It draws in, like I said, all the pollinators, and it's really good for beneficial insects. So yeah, it's a win-win. You can't lose. And like I said, they are so easy to start. You won't regret it. Okay, so next up are bachelor buttons, and these are for direct sow. So I have a section out of the farm that that is the that's the section that currently needs to get filled. So that 4x6 bed that I filled with week before, and direct sowed Bells of Ireland. the back half of that is going to be bachelor buttons. And then I have another bed right next to it that I need to fill with compost, hopefully tomorrow or the next day before the rains come in. And those are going to be for the poppies, the nigella, and the Bupleurum. So I have Bupleurum here. There's no picture of that. They're just packets of Direxo seeds. And same thing with the bachelor buttons. I only have, actually I don't have any pictures of one of them, which is Classic Magic, but I do have pictures of the other one, Classic Romantic. Bachelor buttons are kind of a pain in the butt to harvest, and every year I'm like, I'm not going to grow those again, but every year I continue to do that. So I don't know why I keep saying I'm not going to grow things anymore, because I continue to grow them. That's why they don't go in a row crop area. They just go like Direxo area where I can, harvest them off and they won't make a big mess. They tend to get tangled, the stems and stuff, so it makes it hard to harvest them. Okay, so something else that's not for the row crops, Coreopsis. I love having this in my wildflower sections, the pollinator beds, both out at the farm and here at the house. This one is Double Sunburst. Love Coreopsis, it's so pretty. And Incredible Swirl. This one's really, really gorgeous. A lot of Coreopsis, there's one specifically called Dyer's Coreopsis, makes a great dye that you can use to dye. I use it to dye wool, yarn, for my knitting projects. Okay, next up is Gomphrena. And I think I only have one to show you the color of. Gomphrena, also known as Globe Amaranth, is this cute little fluffy button type flower, and they come in a variety of colors. It's really heat and drought tolerant, which makes it great for my area where we get into the hundreds or triple digits Fahrenheit in the summertime. So I've got a couple colors here, Mandarin Orange, and this is just the first succession. I'll be sewing more successions in different colors. So Mandarin Orange, and then I'm going to be sewing one QIS Red, so think of that, but just a bright red, and Audrey Mix and Pastel Mix. So those will be more in the light and dark pinks and purples. Okay, and then I have a couple of hyssops, and these are going to be going into pollinator beds, the cottage garden, one or two places out on in the front veggie garden, again, to draw in pollinators, to add beauty. And yeah, I also harvest these for cuts when I put them out at the farm. I just don't grow them in the row crops. I grow them in my wildflower areas. So the first one is Arcado Pink. These smell amazing too. They're wonderful. This one is Lavender Hyssop. I have Korean Hyssop and Root Beer Hyssop. Yeah, they're wonderful. And they do make really nice additions to bouquets because of that spike flower nature. Okay, then I have Nicotiana, which I haven't actually grown before, and I've been wanting to do this. This one is Bronze Queen, and I'll put a picture here. This one is from Johnny's Seeds. Then I have Aurich, which is this particular, it's Atriplex. This particular one is from Floret, and it is Caramel Apple. I'll try to insert a picture here. And then I have the first of the sunflower successions, and we're going to start with Pro-Cut White Light. So that is the white one with the light greenish color center. So I only have, from what I can feel in here, probably have enough for about maybe 60 seedlings. But I'll plant every one that I've got for this first succession. And I'm going to be putting those in 128 trays because they need a little bit more sturdiness for the sunflower than the soil blocks. And if I was going to use soil blocks, I'd have to use the 2-inch blocker, which uses a lot of soil, way more soil than a 128 tray does, plug tray does. So those are going to be how I plant those, how I start those. And from here on out, I'll be starting one succession of sunflowers every week. I will start them for the first couple months, probably until March. I'll be starting them in here. No, April maybe. I'll be starting them indoors, and then I can move to sowing them outdoors when it gets warmer. I can just sow them directly in the ground. I had good luck with that last year. The key there is just keeping the birds from getting at them. So when I start sowing them outdoors, I will cover them with row cover just until they get, big enough that the birds are not going to try to decimate them, because birds love sunflower seeds. Okay, that's going to be it for me today. I am going to try to start some of these today, but I need to go get Aiden soon. It's almost the end of the school day. And I have an online class tonight through Certified Naturally Grown online about making your own inputs for the farm. I already know quite a bit about this because I've studied it, read it, taken some online courses, but I always am open to hear more stuff. So I'm assuming it'll be stuff about, worm compost tea, but also starting things like water-soluble calcium, and probably some Korean natural farming stuff. I'm gonna kind of refresh myself with this online course tonight, and then I do need to start making some of these. So even though I've done videos on one or two of these things in the past, it's been a couple years. So stay tuned, because I will show you guys how to make water-soluble calcium. That's really easy with eggshells and vinegar. And then we can talk about some other pretty easy things you can do to bring not only beneficial bacteria and microbiology into your garden, but to increase soil tilth, increase soil fertility. It's just all good, and it's usually free. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you guys have a wonderful time in your garden, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.